Murdaugh, a Southern saga. Well, look who's strutting in like a peacock on a front porch. Ain't no joke, darling. I'm downright thrilled to see you mosey back on by this channel. Welcome back with all the bells and whistles, and know that it puts a big old smile on my face to have you here again. I got a tantalizing proposition for you. How about we take a saucy stroll through the backwoods of Alec's secrets, lies, money, thievery, and yes, even the taking of lives. Yes, I'm talking about none other than Murdaugh County, where truth tiptoes a delicate balance, much like a blushing debutante caught between the clutches of text-fueled obsession and fleeting sanity. Each move revealing more layers of mystery and intrigue, so brace yourself as we navigate the treacherous twists and turns of this enigmatic tale. The heart-pounding pursuit of truth will keep us on the edge of our seats, just like that playful feline chasing its elusive prey. Buckle up, darling, 'cause we're fixing to go there, and there ain't no turning back now. Welcome to Salto del Gato. I'm your host, Marilia, and this is my Gumshoe playlist. Be warned, y'all, this story is gonna make you feel like you are skinny dipping under a dark moon in the swampy waters of the wetlands, looking out for the alligators and the poisonous snakes. That slimy white crocodile of Alec Murdaugh has a whole narrative that his crawdaddy buddies are now pushing. These silly-ass men are trying to convince us that their blemished client, whom they can't seem to distance themselves from, is not as bad of a guy as Eric Bland has made him out to be. You know that old Eric Bland with his confident exuberance? According to Jim and Poot, he's not as sparkly clean as he'd like you to believe he is. I think Jim and Poot should have listened to their mama's advice when she told them, darling, if you stand too close to that mess, you might end up with a little Anya. Well, they stepped in it, and it's all over their face. These two men babies, or should I say aging old, has-been lawyers, Harpootelin, affectionately known as Poot in his circles. No, ma'am, I didn't say poop. Although at times he does resemble a large sack of bull sitting in the courtroom, and Jim, his protege, well, they seem to be really upset that they got outmaneuvered. They're tinkle-tapping all over their own boots to lay claim to their domain. Meanwhile, that dashing young smartass Eric Bland and his partner Ronnie Richter ain't taking no step back, holding their ground like stubborn mules in a cotton field. It's a good old-fashioned Southern standoff, with each side showing their mettle and making it known. They ain't ones to be pushed around. Neither party is backing down, and like two seasoned old foxes, Jim and Poot are beyond able to control their timeless holding and testing stance. Have they reached a point where neither can make a move without losing ground? Bland and Richter sure had a field day making Jim and Poot stumble over their own words. Those two lawyers managed to wrangle Team Murdaugh into a sticky situation, making them spill the beans and put down in black and white what they shouldn't have blabbed about. It was a real hoot watching them incriminate their own client with their desperate attempt to take back that confession of judgment. It's like they were dancing on thin ice, hoping to erase their missteps with fancy legal footwork. But honey, the cat was out of the bag, and there was no denying the mess they'd made. Talk about a wild ride in the courtroom drama, where the tables turned and lawyers found themselves tangled up in their own web of words. Bland Richter managed to get old Poot and his crony Jim to trip over their own big mouth and feet and get them to agree to encourage their drug-rehabilitated yet never less corrupt client to sign a confession of judgment, saying that he was totally at fault and stole the money from the settlement meant for the Satterfield estate. But now, since they seem to have lost every penny in this game of ball slinging, they are incorrigibly acting like spoiled brat toddlers having temper tantrums, and have decided that there's no way that the Satterfield children should keep all of that money that Eric and Ronnie intelligently, brilliantly out-strategized them for, and damn them for managing to acquire huge amounts of money for the wrongful death of Miss Satterfield. She's the Satterfield boy's mother who died mysteriously. Poot and Jim's egos are too big, and they couldn't get over this. After all, How is this going to look for Poot back on the Senate floor? So what do these lawyers do? They file a motion asking the judge or the courts to approve their client's request to retract that confession of judgment. And here's their outrageous reason for doing so. Their crazy-ass criminal client feels it's unfair that the Satterfield children, whose mother dedicated 25 years of her life working for his family, raised his own 2 kids, and died under mysterious and unexplained circumstances on his very own front porch, should receive all that money. Can you believe it, y'all? Now, tell me, how in tarnation does falling down 8 steps lead to a crushed skull, shattered ribs, and unimaginable internal injuries? It don't add up, my friends. And now Alec is pissed. His scheme backfired on him. He only got $3.5 million. What are these boys going to do with almost $11 million that Eric and Ronnie got for them? But hold your horses, there's more. Alec, the master of manipulating the truth, initially hinted that Gloria's unfortunate demise had something to do with his dogs. But now he's backpedaling faster than a scared rabbit, claiming the dogs had nothing to do with it. And his lawyers, clever little devils they are now implying a new narrative. They're suggesting that Gloria, the dearly departed, had underlying health issues and was on powerful medications for her diabetes and neuropathy known to cause severe dizziness. And if you ain't buying that, well, they say maybe she just lost her balance. Now, darling, if you believe that, I've got a strip of swampland with oil reserves that I can sell you for real cheap. But let's not dilly-dally, my darlings. These lawyers have the audacious audacity to accuse Eric Bland of making extrajudicial comments, basically slandering Alec in the public eye. Poot and Jim claim that Eric is painting Alec as an evil man, a danger to society who can't be trusted. He's calling poor Alec a liar and a thief. Poot says Eric should be sanctioned for this. They state this all because Eric dared to stand up against their monstrous client. They're hollering from the mountaintops how unscrupulous Eric Bland is and that he should be disbarred. Even their motion reads like it was written by an angry child, especially when they claim Eric called the settlement monopoly money and whatnot. Well, I don't know about y'all, but I don't see no lies in Eric's statements about Alec. Maybe Eric Bland shouldn't have been so vocal about the money. Now let's talk about these high-priced lawyers, Poot and Jim. They cost as much as a luxury yacht party. They waltzed into the courtroom all tailored suits and persuasive charm, advising their client to sign the confession of judgment. I almost hear Roberta Flack's You're So Vain playing in the background. They knew darn well that if they got their client to sign that confession, Eric Bland wouldn't fight them at the bond hearing, but it didn't work because Judge Newman wasn't having none of the biscuits they were serving. Alec Murdaugh put pen to paper, signed on the dotted line, and now he's trying to snatch it all back. And you know what his main objection is? He don't believe them Satterfield kids deserve all that moolah. He thinks they should share the wealth with his other victims. Come on now, Alec, you mean with you. Because in his twisted logic, the insurance claim was false because Alec had lied yet again to the Nautilus investigators for the insurance company. Can you believe the gall of this man? It's enough to make your sweet tea turn sour. Let me tell you, people, these lawyers have put us all through a roller coaster of legal shenanigans. They twist and turn their way around the law, using it like a magician's wand to conjure up schemes. And at the heart of it all, it's about money. Poot and Jim, well, they got a taste for those high-flying butterflies, if you catch my drift. They're looking to get paid, honey, and they won't let a little thing like justice and morality stand in their way. This is a good place to take a pee break. Pour another glass of that sweet tea, settle in your porch swing, and get ready for more of this Southern crime drama. We'll uncover the secrets, the lies, and the twists that'll leave you hollering for more, because things are about to get hotter than a bonfire on a summer night. And remember, in the South, we don't just stir the pot, we add a little spice and sizzle to keep things interesting. So let's go there. Yes, Alec has got himself in quite a southern pickle in the low country, and he's squirming around like a gator in a swamp, wriggling and writhing, trying to escape those marshy swamp waters. And just how would he do that, you might ask? Well. It just so happens that the federal government and the state government have been themselves involved in a bit of a tug of war about who's going to hold on to Alec's ass. The feds have decided they don't care what the state says. They're going ahead and charging this southern weasel with 22 additional charges for fraud for a litany of financial crimes. Poot and Jim jumped on the bandwagon, immediately trying to sort all that mess up. They've come up with a statement that Alec is cooperating with the feds. Now, what in the world is he doing? Because, he don't do nothing that isn't going to benefit him. Jim immediately said Alec is willing to waive his right to have himself transferred to a federal facility, although it is within his right to be incarcerated in a federal facility and serve out his time once he has been tried and convicted for federal crimes. He's waived. What? Huh? Really? I believe that, honey, like I believe a gigolo loves me. What is he up to? He has entered a plea of not guilty, but his attorneys quickly say that may be subject to change. So what's he doing? Is he taking a page from this whole rescinding the confession of judgment, or is something else underhand? Grizz says that immediately after Alec was arrested, some anonymous person reached out to the feds to take over his cases. Someone was protecting him, and it seems they still are. Alec has ties to some members of the state attorney's office and to the feds as well. Could they take his case over? Does he have evidence they want about other criminal operations in the county, in Hampton County? Could he get a federal deal? All things that are concerning to think about. Or is he figuring that he can play the same card with the feds that he's using with the state on the confession of judgment by saying, I'm guilty now, but I might change my mind. And I'm not going to accept the offer to spend my time in a federal prison, but I might change my mind about that too. Sir, leopards don't change their spot. He's still playing both hands. Meantime, Poot and Jim are scrambling to figure out how they're going to generate income. Their loyalty to Alec is admirable. Or is it that Alec has something on them? What exactly is it that keeps them so connected to this man? They don't come across as being philanthropists to me, so what keeps them so engaged in this particular case? Could it be that they might be thinking of book and film deals? Well, Jim was recently spotted on his private island in the Low Country. It's his second home, And it's the rumor, gossip, and innuendo streams say a film crew was spotted on his property, and that Buster Murdaugh also made an appearance. So it appears that they certainly are in discussions about a deal or a documentary or a book. And for sure, that will generate and replenish their depleted funds and make sure they get paid for their legal services. You got to give it to these guys. They are just as slippery as a greased pig running against the wind. Meanwhile, back behind bars, Mr. White Crocodile is attracting a lot of attention from women that are parading their emails and letters in front of him, hoping to entice his interest and pledging to make him feel things he never felt before. What in hell's name are these people thinking? Lordy, there are some desperate-ass people out there, and who knows what he's thinking. He just might be very clever and not be trying to engage in any of that. All the rumors from behind bars, because, here in the South, somebody knows somebody that's in jail, who knows somebody who knows something and has access to Alec, either in the same pod or cell block. And from that stream of gossip comes that Alec is laying low, but he's not shy. He's playing games and cards and doing a little moneyless gambling for beef sticks. He's even been offered the opportunity to purchase one of those illegal contraband phones from the prison in-house black market. I don't know how they do it, but they've got their ways in those jails, and they get those phones, and Alec has expressed a desire to purchase one. Now, they cost about $2,500 to $5,000, which is a piss in the wind for Alec. But he's decided that he's going to refrain from doing any such things until after his appeal, because he has figured somewhere in his head that he's only going to be locked up a few years and that he's going to be able to come out. This man is a dreamer, but you never know with him. And here's where it gets really interesting, y'all. Harpootlian, the Democrat extraordinaire, well, he's got some connections being in that political game. This means he's got some sway with those higher ups, including the president himself. Now, I ain't saying there's anything fishy going on, but you never know what kind of deals can be struck in those back rooms of Southern politics. Putin might just pull a rabbit out of his hat and negotiate something mighty spectacular. Stranger things have happened in the Southern world. Could we end up in some strange Southern scenario where Alec gets to ride into freedom on an airboat under a dark moon through a marshy swamp leading to an inlet where some obscure shrimp boat is waiting to take him out to sea? I mean, Jeffrey Epstein down in Florida used the jail like an Airbnb for overnight guests. Oh, this tale just gets juicier. Well, we'll see what happens with that motion to rescind the confession of judgment. It'll tell us a lot. I'll be back, folks. This is your host, Maria, signing off.